Screens with gusto.
What up, Bills Mafia? Welcome to Bills HQ, where we talk all things Buffalo Bills football and NFL. I'm your host, Julian Mott, and I wanted to recap that whooping. That, I don't know. What do you call it? I don't know. We smacked them boys all off season, especially the last couple weeks. What was the talk? Are the Bills worth the hype? Should they be the Super Bowl favorite in every sports book? Should everybody be picking them to win the Super Bowl? Is that right? Shouldn't there be a Kansas City somewhere? Shouldn't there probably be a Chargers somewhere, a Broncos somewhere, some team? Shouldn't there be a Tampa Bay somewhere, Eagles, something? Is the hype? Is it worth it? Is it warranted? The Bills said, yeah, it's warranted. Opening night against the Super Bowl champions. They raised the banner that night. The crowd was hyped. The Rock there talking about the Ram key. Ozzy Osbourne's performing at whatever. Don't matter. We here to play football. We are here. Football. We are here to put a butt whooping on you. We're going to get here. We're going to chill in LA. We're going to put a butt whooping on you. We're going to get back and we're going to get ready for the Titans. That's what he said. There was a lot of standouts. There was a lot of standouts in this game. First thing I want to talk about is the defensive line. The defensive line. And we talked about in our pregame preview that we needed to see the defensive line not only set the tone, but we needed to see them dominate. We needed to see them in the backfield penetrating. We needed to see them forcing their will on the Rams' offensive line. It's exactly what they did. They demoralized them. They took their souls. They could not handle it. Was not just Vaughn. It was everybody. Like there's that clip of Ed Oliver earlier this year when he was asked about the new defensive line, and Ed is just like, good, Vaughn good, AJ good, Boogie good, Julian good, Brandon Bryant good. He didn't play. Like everybody is good. Everybody is dominant. Daquan Jones good. Tim Settle. Everybody.
Big dental bills often come as a
shock. Everybody got a piece of the pie. They were dominant. Take away Von Miller, AJ Epinesa, and Boogie Basham, like, hand clap the Brandon Beane, like the type of blowback Brandon had gotten the last couple years with those players, and maybe it's been warranted because there's been a lot of times where those players have just been playing inactive. They haven't even played. But showed up this game. They showed up this game. Brandon could take a bow for at least 1 week. You know, you can take a bow for longer than that, but when it comes to those two particular players, Boogie Basham and AJ Epinesa, he could take a bow for at least 1 week. At least. Guys were great. A sack and a half for AJ Epinesa, a sack for Boogie Basham, a tip pass and interception. Did you see? Okay, he tipped the pass, right, guys? He tipped the pass. He looked up in the air, was athletic enough to come down with it, and not only he didn't just fall. He was trying to take that back for a touchdown. So many highlight plays from this defensive line. Did you tell me? I mean, there's so much to talk about. Tell me you guys did not see Jordan Phillips in the middle of that defensive line. Welcome back, Jordan Phillips. I did not think Jordan Phillips would be this dominant and this impactful in our defense. Not this early on. McDermott said after the game, like, he thrives in this environment with this team. He just thrives. It's amazing. Did you guys see that spin move? Like, I've never seen somebody. I mean, Shaq. I've seen Shaq do that spin move a bunch of times, but I've never seen somebody with that type of size do a spin move that quick. I mean, just destroying people, clearing people out of the way, dominating. They get into their offense. Oh, by the way, they had like 52 rushing yards. like, there's all this talk about the Rams and how they're high-flying offense. Everything is predicated on that run game. That's what they want to establish first. They want to run the ball, and they could not do it. They just could 52 rushing yards every time they handed the ball off to Darrell Henderson, because it really wasn't Cam Akers. So every time they handed the ball off to Darrell Henderson, somebody was in the backfield wreaking havoc, and they either made the play or allowed another teammate to come up and make the play. There was no rushing, and it's all because of that defensive line. All because of that defensive line. They were dominant. 7 sacks. 7. And that kind of just segues us to Von Miller. Von freaking Miller. Now, I know I could have the opportunity to watch a lot of these guys on other teams, but a lot of times you end up zeroed in on the Bills. And I don't know if I just wasn't paying attention when Mario Williams was here, or I don't know. But man, Von Miller makes rushing the passer look fun. I have never had more fun watching somebody rush the passer. I've never seen somebody cross somebody over rushing the passer. I mean, this looked like Allen Iverson crossing folks over. See that double ghost? He ghosted the tight end, right? He ghosted the tight end, but then not only did he ghost the left tackle, left to right crossover, then ghost. Insane! Like this dude is insane. Do you see the way he's built? Like, do you see the way this? No, hold on. I'm looking at like the way he is built, especially from the waist down. Like he is built to rush the passer. You've heard Bills insider Chris Brown talk about seeing him up close and really noticing the way he's built. Like this man is built to rush the passer. Like he's dedicated his life to rushing the passer. And I mean, you can just see the confidence that he's instilling in the young guys as well. Like Von Miller is not just impacting Von, like he's impacting the whole defensive line. You see the impact he's having on these young guys. Like the confidence oozing off these young guys that's stemming from Von. You can see it. Like the impact that Von is having on this team is so huge right off the bat. First game you're seeing. Oh, and it also helps to have that defensive short up. Those guys inside something else. But that Von Miller, oh, they pay too much for him. He's too old. It's too expensive. Whatever, man. I do that every day on Sunday. Every single day and twice on Sunday to get that type of performance out of that guy. We have not seen that type of performance from a defensive end. Since when? I don't even know since when. I just don't pay attention to them like that. It's not that fun to watch. Like Von makes it fun to watch. Like is it Mario Williams? Like did Jerry Hughes have some sort of crazy game? Probably, that I'm just not remembering. Like I'm sure he did. I'm absolutely positive he did a few years ago or something like that. But mixing the impact on the game with the impact on the young guys, that fun factor, like I can't remember the last time we've had something like on the defensive line in Buffalo, and it was all full display for the nation and the world to see Thursday night. The defense as a whole, like, my goodness, so much was talked about with the defensive line, and Von Miller came out and said, hey guys, you gotta remember, like, there were a couple where we didn't get there right away. And the thing is that the secondary, specifically Poyer and Hyde, like things they do in terms of disguising coverages, like they were confused. And you could see it a little bit. They were confused with him. That pick that Dane Jackson, like, that was a little bit of, he was lancing in the pocket because he's gotten hit a few times, but he was also a little confused about the coverage. Like, I really think he thought Dane was in maybe he was in man, riding that receiver all the way up, but he was in zone. You know, he's reading the quarterback, sees the pass coming towards the flat, picks it up. Like the defense as a whole was dominant. And of course, to me, it starts with that defensive line. Like, I don't know if I've seen Matt Milano and Tremaine Edmonds running as free as they were since like 2018 or 2019. That's the last time I probably saw them running that free. And of course, the teams weren't as good then, but you know, the defensive line was better. I'd say in those years, 2019, especially. So the defense as a whole was just dominant. 243 total yards allowed. Come on, guys. 243? Not even 300 yards to an offense like that. A Sean McVay, the best and brightest mind head coach in the league. 243 yards? Like, we're not talking about opening day against the Jets. This is the defending Super Bowl champions. 243 yards against a Sean McVay offense with Matthew Stafford, with Cooper Kupp, with Allen Robinson, with Tyler Higbee. I mean, come on. 243 yards is special. 3.7 yards per play. 2.9 yards per run. I mean, they got nothing in the run game. Nothing. 3 picks. 10. Just 10 points given up. 10. I mean, listen to that number. Like, 1 touchdown and 1 field goal. And it was all in the first half. Like, 0 points in the second half. This defense was dominant. And it's against, again, like, I mean, I don't know. Maybe they're going to be one of the worst teams in the league this year. Like, it could happen. It was the first game of the year. Like, maybe they're just going to be terrible. I don't think so. Like, a lot of the problems that they're talking about the Rams, I think specifically on the offensive line, I think those probably going to be solved next week when they're not playing the Bills. I think that's what it is. Like, how often in training camp we heard about the Bills offensive line being bad? Oh, the Bills offensive line had a rough day. Oh man, they got eaten up. Oh man, they had to pull Von Miller off so they could get some stuff. Like, I don't think the Rams offensive line is as bad as it looked. I think the Bills defensive line is so good and so dominant that it can make other offensive lines look like they're awful. Awful. That's the defense. That's just the defense. There's some guys on the other side of the ball that had a pretty good day. Let's start off with Mr. Josh Allen. J.A. Joshua Allen. I saw Mina Kimes put out a tweet that I thought was pretty funny. Something along the lines of, pretty unfair that the Bills to a Buffalo at quarterback. That was pretty good. But she's kind of right. I mean, I'd like him to dial it back a little bit, especially when it comes to, you know, the time when we just don't need it. But my gosh, what are you going to say about Josh Allen? What more is there to say about Josh Allen? He showed why he's one of the league's best quarterbacks, if not the best quarterback in the league. Like, when he is dealing like he was on Thursday, he's the best quarterback in the league, bar none. Because nobody's throwing the ball like him when he's on like that. Maybe other than Holmes and Herbert. But when he's on like that, I don't know if anybody's throwing the ball like he is.
Skip the pin pad
and no running back is dominating the game, physically running the ball like Josh Allen is. No quarterback is physically dominating the game like Josh is when they run the ball. Not even Lamar. Lamar is not dominating the game physically like Josh is when he runs the ball. Athletically, in terms of his skill set, running the ball and his quickness and his elusiveness, Like, and his ability to, scoot, like, but he's just not dominant. He's not dominating. He's not mushing like athletic DBs in the face for first downs. He's not over. He's not dunking on Bobby Wagner and one. He's not doing that. He's not. Like, Josh is on another level when he is on, and he's going to be on more than not because I think he's just learned how to play the game of football. There was a lot of Brady comparisons for the way they were moving the ball, and I think we've been seeing that maturation since 2019. Like, go back to 2019 and watch the Bills' opening drive against the Jets. It was away. They walked the ball down the field with Josh throwing the ball, like, thinking and talking and boom and pop and oh. And he just, sometimes over the last couple of years where he just hasn't been able to maintain it. But Josh has been showing us that he can do this. And I think now, going into his 5th year, he's going to do it consistently. And game after game after game after game is going to be like this. Remember, guys, they have 4 turnovers. 4 turnovers.
Which they must do because
Josh completed 26 of 31 passes, 83.9%. Josh is throwing 84% right now for the year. 297 yards, 3 touchdowns. He was also the game's leading rusher. The game's leading rusher, not just the Bills, the game. Only had 56 yards. Great for a quarterback, but it's pretty bad for leading the game in rushing. Stephon Diggs. Now, I have, obviously Diggs is Diggs. I have Diggs for fantasy. We love Diggs. I did not expect him to get off like he did. I just did not. Not against that boy Jalen Ramsey. I love Ramsey. I'm one of the type of dudes where I'm like, you want to try Ramsey. But after this game, and after looking at the last few games, which everybody can have a stretch of, poor games. But after looking at the last few games, I don't know. Is Jalen the shutdown that he used to be? I'm definitely not here to say he's not. So I am going to say yes, he is. And use a bit of the Bills defensive line versus the Rams offensive line. Like, if he's not going against Diggs, he's probably fine. Like, Diggs is elite. Like, Diggs is constantly burning good DBs, like, constantly. He did it in the whole game a couple years ago. Burned him for on a good route. Like, Diggs is elite, man. 8 catches, 122 yards, including that 53-yard touchdown reception. Where, I didn't know exactly what he was doing with the celebration. Like, of course, he points at him, because I think that's a drive. Allen's running up the middle and tries to fling him one, and Diggs is like, I'm this close, and Ramsey's like, no. And so this is a drive after that. So 53-yard touchdown on Ramsey, burns him. Diggs is reported to have been running about 20 miles per hour. Points at him.
Plus, it takes away,
on your head. This is what I thought. He was on your head. But I guess it was something that Devin Singletary and somebody else. I don't know. Diggs is elite, man. Like, I'm so happy to have Stephon Diggs. It's so crazy. Like, I'm watching Diggs Thursday, and then I'm watching Justin Jefferson on Sunday, and like, has there ever been a more win-win trade? Like, teams would do that trade over again 100 times, or after over 100. 100 by 100. Like, we want Diggs, they want Jefferson. Like, it's just a stroke of genius by both general managers. Stroke of genius by both general managers. I thought Singletary had a good game. He just didn't have that much value. And, I have Singletary in fantasy, and people are asking me, do you regret drafting me? Like, no. Like, the Bills do this every year with Singletary. They play around at the beginning of the year, and then he'll get all the carries towards the end of the year. Like, they always do this. He'll be the number one guy. Like, if anything, Thursday made me more confident that Devin Singletary is the number one back. And it's not just because both of them fumbled. Like, You know, forget the fumbles, whatever. Like, they're not going to fumble every week. At least they better not. Well, they won't, or they won't be on the field. But it's about skill set. Like, Devin Singletary has the more diverse right now, the more diverse skill set, and he's just the better runner of the football at this point. He reads blocks better. He finds the holes better. He makes miss better. He's the number one running back. And I thought he had a good game with what he was given. And I can only hope that he'll be given more in the future. And again, what the heck does it matter when Josh Allen is doing what Josh Allen did on Thursday? Ken Dorsey. Now, I'm the type of guy, I really think coaching matters. I really do. And I just think it's evident in looking at the Bills the last few years. Like, I just think we've matched the type of players that have come in with the scheme. Like, you have to have a good scheme in order to. You're not just putting out good players and saying just go play. You're just not. The guys are too good, and the other coaches are too good. Like, that's the thing. Like, the coaches are so good nowadays. Like, Sean McVay is so good. You cannot just say, just go get it, guys. Go out there and just try hard and you'll do everything and accomplish everything you know. You need good, solid coaching. You need a guy that can dial it. And I've been saying since before the season started, like, the one thing that I'm really interested this year in the offense, the operation of the offense, and again, no delayed games, not even close to any delayed games. It didn't, it's hard for me to see, but watching the all-22 angle, things like it didn't look like any of the calls were coming in really late or anything like that. Like, it's like the operation was as clean as it's ever been with the new offensive coordinator. Oh, and by the way, he was dialing it up. Him and Josh, because another thing, it looks like Josh was calling a lot of plays at the line of him, along with Dorsey, got it done. And it just gives you confidence. Just gives you confidence going forward that they'll be able to accomplish what they want to accomplish. Last thing I want to talk about, guys, and we'll wrap it up here, is Bills Mafia. I heard you guys yelling, cheering, loud. A couple starts because of you guys. Us. Like, who's rocking? Who's rocking? We need to continue to. Got a pretty big game coming up on Monday night, home opener. I'm sure everybody's really excited for that. I'm really excited for it. Look forward to doing a preview later this week. I watched a little bit of the Giants-Titans game. Not a lot. Not enough to really know what exactly happened, so maybe I'll dig into that a little bit, watch that game back, 21-20 final. I definitely last a few minutes. Our guy, Brian Dable, dialing it up. Take some guts, man. I don't even know if Sean McDermott would have done that. Man, he's got that locker room. He's got that locker room. Did you see Sterling Shepard and Saquon Barkley, after they converted the 2-point conversion, come over to him like, let's go, man. Like, that's what I've been waiting for. I've been waiting for somebody to have faith in me. Like, you don't. I know you have faith in me by what you do and not what you say. Like, you saying, I'm going to give you the tools. I'm going to allow you to be you. I'm going to, like, you saying that is one thing. But you actually going out there, go for two with about a minute left. If we don't get it, we lose this game. Like, that is having faith and putting trust in your players, and that is heard loud and clear. What a job by Brian Dable. What a job by Brian Dable. And yeah, I'm interested to see what went wrong for the Titans in that game and how they end up losing to that Giants team that we just don't think is that talented. The Bills are opening up as 9.5-point favorites against the Titans Monday with a 49.5 to 50 for an over/under. They're expecting us to roll this team. Sounds like pretty much. We should. Like, it's been like this the last couple years though, right? Maybe not. maybe not. But without AJ Brown, like Robert Woods, I was looking at the box score for that game because I was talking to my brother about fantasy, and he had a few players that he was down between, and I think Robert Woods is one of the guys, and I think I stupidly said, oh, I think Robert Woods could have the most targets out of all those guys. What a stupid statement. Would he have one target? Maybe he had more targets, but he only had one catch. And they were oh man, I can't remember the guy's name who they were led by, but he's a guy that nobody has on their fantasy team because I was thinking about picking him up. I can't remember his name right now, but I didn't see what their rookie did. I don't know if he really did much. Derrick Henry didn't do much. I have him on my fantasy team. Like 20-something carries for like 80-some yards. So we should blow this team. It's really been like that, but I think they'll have a bad taste in their mouth from the last couple of years, and they're gonna come ready to play. So look forward to previewing that game a little bit later this week. What a game Thursday was. What a time to be a Bills fan.
These guys are very
like to not only be the Super Bowl favorite, to have all that talk all offseason, but to come out and put it on the defending Super Bowl champions on the opening day where everybody's watching. 31-10. Like with 4 turnovers, like everybody knows it could have been like 53. I'm just trying to be alive. That'll do it for me though, guys. Yeah, thanks for stopping by. Hope to see you soon. If you like this kind of content, Buffalo Bills content, NFL content, make sure you like and subscribe. We really do this. And yeah, look forward to talking to you guys soon. Bye bye.